Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. Our New Jersey Devils are about to embark on their Western Canada road trip, where they will take on the Vancouver Canucks, the Calgary Flames, and the Edmonton Oilers. As you all know, we unfortunately lost Curtis Lazar amidst the 6-2 drubbing of the Ducks at home the other night at the Prudential Center. A lot of people wondering who was going to be called up to fill his spot. And we finally get an answer today, courtesy of the New Jersey Devils. Headline reads, Dowling recalled, Villain reassigned. The Devils have recalled forward Justin Dowling from Utica of the American Hockey League. He will join the club for practice in Vancouver Tuesday. Dowling, 34, has played 100 career NHL games, including 2 last season with the Devils. He also played for Dallas and Vancouver in the NHL. He's played most of his career in the AHL with Abbotsford, Texas, and Utica. Dowling, 5'10", 180 pounds, has 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists in 6 games with the Comets this season. Center Curtis Lazar suffered an injury Sunday against Anaheim. His status is unclear, though head coach Sheldon Keefe said after the game that Lazar will, in quotes, miss some time. The Devils also activated defenseman Tobias Villain from injured non-roster and assigned him to Utica. So there it is. Dowling is going to be centering the fourth line with hopefully still Curtis MacDermid and Tatar. We'll see how that all develops, but I really hope Curtis MacDermid is still in the lineup for this trip. You guys all know how I feel about him. In limited ice time against the Islanders, he made his presence known, made a big impact. Crushed Romanov, had the fight with Mayfield. Love to see it. Got the boys jacked. And then obviously in the Ducks game, he played well over 9 minutes. Love to see that from Curtis MacDermid. Did little things well, chipped pucks in, chipped them out, got in front of the net, tried to screen the goalie, do what he can to get the other team off their game, and he obviously had that really sweet scrap with Johnston early on in the first period, and you love to see it. Curtis MacDermid is the epitome of heavier, edgier, more violent, and I'm hoping he's still in the lineup, and it seems like he will be for this trip, and hopefully he sticks around. I love what he brings. I know a lot of people are not the biggest fans of his type of role in the game of hockey, but I think it's been shown, definitely last season and a lot this season as well, that you do need a guy like that in your lineup because teams like to take liberties and take cheap shots, and Curtis is not going to be having that. You're not going to do that when Curtis is around. Fresh off of the 6-2 win against the Ducks at home the other night, the New Jersey Devils are now in second place in the Eastern Conference with a record of 6-4-2 with 14 points. I will be the first to point out it is slightly misleading because we have played more games than most teams. So when you're looking at the standings here, the thing you really want to look at is the points percentage. If you look, the Panthers are in first at a 7-3-1 record, 15 points, and their points percentage is .682. Very, very good points percentage for the Panthers. The Devils are only at .583. If you see the Rangers, 8-13 is just out of this world. There's no way the Rangers can, continue that up. And then you see Carolina at 750, the Lightning at 667, the Maple Leafs at 550, the Caps at 714, and then the Blue Jackets at 563. So it is a little misleading. Right now, second in the conference, but again, we've played more games than every team, and some of them we've played 4 and 5 games more. So hopefully that points percentage for the Devils, continues to climb up into hopefully the mid-6s would be really nice. The Devils are likely going to drop in the standings as other teams catch up to us with games played if they don't continue to just keep winning at some point, or a nice little winning streak. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that as the games sort of even out over the next few weeks. But 583, not tragic, but not the best. Like I said, you look at these other teams in a playoff spot, and most of them are above that, and the Devils are going to have to put a winning streak together at some point soon to just kind of maintain. On to Western Canada. Tomorrow night will be the second Hughes Bowl featuring all 3 of the Hughes brothers, Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks, and obviously Jack and Luke Hughes of our New Jersey Devils. All should be playing tomorrow night in Vancouver as we see the second Hughes Bowl, and should be an interesting one. It's only the second time that all 3 of them are going to be playing in the same game in the NHL. Last season, Jack missed Vancouver's trip to New Jersey with his injury, and so it was just Luke and Quinn. So this is only the second time all 3 of them are going to be playing in an NHL game. If you guys remember, the last time they all played in one game in Vancouver was the night that Luke Hughes got caught on the hot mic waiting to do the interview via satellite. They had some technical difficulties. There was a big delay, and he got a little pissed, and he dropped an F-bomb live on the air, which is one of the more hilarious things I've seen in quite a while. I'll actually put the link to that video in the description. So if you didn't know about that or you want to see it again, link in description from the first Hughes Bowl. Luke Hughes on the hot mic. Hilarious moment. But big one for the boys. We just broke our 4-game losing streak with that win over Anaheim, and it would be nice to start putting together some wins here and start another winning streak. And it's going to have to start in Vancouver, so big matchup with the Canucks, 10:30 Eastern time. It's a late one. Get the coffee ready. Get your Monster Energy, your Red Bull, whatever it is that keeps you caffeinated. I know a lot of you probably won't make it till the end of the game, but I will be doing the post-game live. I'm sure the crowd is going to be very, very small for that because that's going to start at, what is it, it'll be like almost 2 a.m., maybe probably 1:45 a.m. Eastern time. So I'll see if there's any real Warriors. For the real ones, I'll still be doing the post-game live. I don't expect many people because, like I said, it's going to be in the wee hours of the morning after this one ends. But first game on the Western Canada road trip for the Devils will be in Vancouver. And then Friday night at 9 p.m., a little bit earlier, still going to be a late finish for those of us on the East Coast. But 9 p.m. Friday night against the Calgary Flames, game 2 of this Western trip. And then wrapping up Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern against the Edmonton Oilers. And Connor McDavid was injured last night, so you hate to see when that happens, especially star players that are so marketable for the league. And Connor McDavid's just been pretty much the face of the league for the past, several seasons now. But that could be a fortunate break for the New Jersey Devils. I haven't heard any updates on McDavid's injury yet, but if he misses a few games, the Devils might be playing a McDavid-less Oilers, and I'll take that any day of the week. Anytime you don't have to go against that guy, that's definitely an advantage for the Devils. We'll see how that all plays out, if McDavid's going to be in the lineup or not, but I won't shed a tear if he's not because that will make the Oilers much easier to beat. And so I will take it. We look at the Pacific Division standings for these teams we're about to go face. And first we see the Canucks here. 8 games played, a 4-1-3 record for the Canucks. Decent points percentage, a really good points percentage actually at .688 for them. The Canucks are expected to be a good team again. I think, with the core players they have there, they're going to be pretty good for a while. And so this is going to be a good test for the boys to see how they stack up against this pretty damn good Vancouver team. And then we see the Flames in 4th place here through 9 games played with a 5-3-1 record, 11 points, and their points percentage is .611, a little higher than the Devils currently is. And then we go to the Oilers in 6th place in the division with 10 games played. They are 4-5-1 with 9 points and a .450 points percentage, which is pretty bad. We saw how they struggled early on last year, and with the team they have, they are capable of rattling off a lot of wins in a row. I forget how many they had last year, but it was some absurd amount. And then obviously, they came together and continued on through the season pretty strong and made a run to the Cup final before ultimately falling to the Panthers in Game 7 after wiping out the 3-1 series deficit. They won 2 in a row to tie it up at 3, and I really thought there was a chance that McDavid was going to pull it off on the road in Game 7, coming back from a 3-1 deficit, but it wasn't meant to be for the Oilers. They lose a heartbreaker. Panthers win the Cup. But I expect the Oilers to be a very dangerous team again this year. Slow start for them again. We'll see how they end up, as the season goes on, but they're no slouches for sure. If we look at the Western Canada road trip from last season, it took place in December 2023, and they actually snuck the Seattle game in there for the Devils as well. But we look, December 5th of 2023, Devils beat the Canucks by a score of 6-5. They beat Calgary by a score of 4-2 on December 9th, and then they lost the final game of the road trip 4-1 to the Oilers on December 10th. But to go 2-1 against these teams last year, not too shabby on the road. And I'm not including the Seattle one, obviously, because that's not part of this year's trip. But they went 3-1 on this road trip and 2-1 against the 3 teams we're going to be playing on this current road trip. So 2-1, 4 points out of 6 against those Canadian teams. Not too shabby, in my opinion. And if we look at the season before, some of you will remember this. In the 22-23 season, the Western Canada road trip took place in November. The Devils were on a 3-game winning streak heading into the Western Canada road trip. And what did the boys do? Bop, bop, bop. 3 up and 3 down. The boys went out there and went 3-0 on this road trip. November 1st, 2022, they beat the Canucks 5-2. Then Thursday the 3rd, they beat the Oilers 4-3. And then on Saturday the 5th, they beat the Flames 4-3 in overtime. Those were win numbers 4, 5, and 6 of what eventually became a 13-game heater. Oh, man, what a winning streak that was. I'm sure lots of you remember that fondly. What a great moment of the season. A 13-game winning streak. Wow. Wow, oh, wow. And hopefully this Western Canada road trip can be win numbers 2, 3, and 4 of what ultimately becomes another 13-game heater. Who wouldn't sign up for that? I would love to see it. If I'm being a little more realistic, I would love the Devils to get 4 points here, win 2 out of 3. I think 4 points would be good. I think getting 5 points, so 2 wins and an overtime or shootout loss to give the 5 points. Getting 5 points out of the 6 would be very good, and then obviously sweeping the road trip and getting all 6 points available would be phenomenal. And I'm hoping that's what happens. Again, I'll be happy with 4 out of 6, but 5 or 6 points out of the 6 would be ideal, especially because of the 4-game losing streak the Devils were on. And we got some ground to make up now because that little rough patch was not so pretty. But if you look at it overall, in the last 2 years of playing these teams on the road, the Devils are a combined 5-1. I mean, wow. What a great level of success in Western Canada. 3-0 2 years ago, and then last season 2-1. So 5-1 over the last 2 years against these teams on the road. Hopefully that success continues on this season, and I'm hoping we go 3-0. We look at the current stats for the boys, and right there at number 1, the captain.
He's pretty, and he lives in Jersey City, number 13, nicohischier.
Nicohischier. What more is there to say about the captain? Nicohischier with 12 points through 12 games played, registering a league-high 9 goals and 3 assists with a +4. And Nico is ready for war on a nightly basis. I don't know what happened to this man over the summer, what's been going on. He's been a very good player for years, but the way he's come out this season, absolutely on fire offensively, just sniping goals left and right. And it's great to see. Nico is absolutely on fire. He is trying to will this team to win game in and game out. Not enough can be said about this guy. He's leading by example, and he's carrying the team on his back on some nights. Hopefully some of his goal-scoring ability rubs off on some of the other guys, and we start seeing, guys like Jack start burying him a little more frequently. But Nico off to an amazing start. And right there at number 2, Jesper Bratt, also with 12 points in 12 games with 2 goals and 10 assists. And then you did the list just, you see the list goes on here. Stefan Nason, 11 points. Timo Meier also with 11 points. Jack Hughes with 10 points. Paul Cotter with 8 points. And my man, Paul Cotter. What a story it's been for Paul Cotter. Fitzy goes out and trades for him in the offseason. And this guy is just totally blowing away all expectations most people had anyway going into the season. I did predict he was going to have 41 points in a preseason predictions video, and I think he is going to shatter that. And I hope he does. I absolutely hope he does. Cotter with 8 points coming from 6 goals and 2 assists. 2 of the goals being the game-winning goal. Paul Cotter, come on down. He might be the breakout player of the season on this roster. I think we're going to see a lot of magical storylines throughout the season. Obviously, Nico, it would be amazing to get 50 goals, but even a 40-goal season from Nico would be phenomenal. And then obviously the emergence of Stefan Nason becoming such an integral part of this New Jersey Devils offense, earned himself a spot on the power play. He is also very much a heavier, edgier, more violent guy. Seems to get the team uplifted, get them in good spirits. Love Stefan Nason, love what he's brought to the team thus far. And Paul Cotter's another one of those guys, and 2 of his goals are game-winning. Look at you, Paul Cotter. Eric Haula with 8 points in 12 games. Dougie Hamilton with 6 points in 12 games. Jonathan Kovacevic also with 6 points in 12 games and a +5. I don't think many people saw this coming. I definitely didn't. Kovacevic was slated to be the 7th defenseman. Brett Pesce, Luke Hughes injured, and Kovacevic just comes on into camp, has an amazing camp, has a great preseason, finds his way onto the roster for Prague in the Global Series, and played so well that Nemitz got forced out of the lineup. What a story Jonathan Kovacevic has been. I love this man. He's a big, nasty guy as well, and another great story, great acquisition from Fitz over the summer. Dawson Mercer with 5 points and a +7. A lot of people have been down on Dawson. Hopefully he starts burying some goals sooner than later, but he's played pretty well, in the season thus far. You could trust him in all situations. Love Dawson. high energy, high tempo guy, and hopefully some goals start going in for him. He could have had a couple the other night against Anaheim. Unfortunately, he couldn't find in the back of the net, but he was flying around. And at number 11, even though he hasn't played in the last 4 games, Seamus Casey with 4 points in 8 games played with a +2. I do think Casey is going to be an absolute beast for Utica. I expect that if there is some sort of injury on defense down the line this season, or if maybe someone's struggling severely for whatever reason, that there is a chance we see Casey make his way back to the Devils lineup. But if not, I am super excited for whenever he comes here for good, because Seamus Casey showed flashes of just absolute brilliance. His puck handling, skating, vision of the ice, the way he anticipates plays, and he's phenomenal. That toe drag and that shot are absolutely lethal. Seamus Casey is going to be one of the core members of our blue line for years to come. It's just a matter of when. And then we go to the second half of the scoring here, and you see Nathan Bastian with 4 points in 10 games played, Tatar with 4 points in 12 games played, Brendan Dillon with 4 points in 12 games played, so on and so forth. Siegenthaler also with 4 points, Curtis Lazar with 2 points, Andre Palat with 2 points. Hopefully Palat could start to produce a little bit offensively. I know a lot of people are down on him. I think a lot of it obviously has to do with his contract. It is what it is. It's an unfortunate situation. Hopefully we could just get some meaningful points from Palat, here and there. I don't think anyone's counting on him to carry the load offensively for this New Jersey Devils club, but if we could get a little more out of him, it would be nice. Luke Hughes registering a point in his 3 games played. Nemitz had a point in the 9 games played. Miss Ewell played 1 game with no points. Curtis MacDermid, 3 games played, no points. I would love to see Curtis MacDermid get a goal. My God, I would love to see it. Hopefully we see it soon. And then Brett Pesce, 3 games played with no points as of yet, but I don't expect to see a ton of points from Pesce. I just want to see that solid defensive play that he's been bringing. This team has shown that they have no problem really scoring goals for the most part. The problem is preventing goals, and I think Brett Pesce is going to be an absolute stud on the blue line and really help this team defensively, because we've shown at times we get sloppy, there's meltdowns, yada yada, and it's gotta improve. We look at the goaltending stats, and I have to say this is a very disappointing element on the season thus far. Again, only 12 games played. It's still early, and I expect these numbers to improve as the season goes on. That 4-game losing streak really didn't help these statistics in any way, but we look at the stats for the goalies. Jacob Markstrom, 8 games played, is 4-3-1 with a 3.01 goals against average and a .895 save percentage, and that is not what we were expecting or hoping for this season. I was expecting a goals against of mid-2s, maybe 2.5 to 2.7, somewhere in there, and I was hoping for a save percentage somewhere in the 910 to 920 range. Markstrom currently well below that, and again, I expect it to get better as time goes on. I do think he will start to find his game and settle in a little more, and we'll see some games where he's letting up 1 or 2 goals, hopefully a couple shutouts sprinkled in there somewhere, and these numbers should improve. But as of right now for Markstrom, numbers not too good. And then we look at Jake Allen through 4 games played. He's 2-1-1 with the goals against of 3.25 and a save percentage of .876, and ouch, that really hurts as well. Again, only 12 games, so when you have a couple horrific games, it really impacts the numbers, and that is the case with Jake Allen after that abysmal Tampa Bay Lightning game where he just gave up a ton of goals. They weren't all his fault. The team was completely flat and played terribly for large stretches of the game, especially defensively, but I expect the numbers for both of these guys to improve as the season goes on. But right now, we are not getting the goaltending play we were looking for this offseason, and hopefully it gets fixed sooner than later. I know a lot of people are like, oh, is the goaltending still an issue, and yada, yada. And as of right now, it is. I can't say you're wrong. I don't expect it to continue to be a problem like it was last year, but as of right now, it is. It's something to keep an eye on and to be somewhat concerned about. I'm hoping to see this turned around nearly immediately, because as time goes on, we're not going to be able to win games consistently with this level of goaltending, unfortunately. And hopefully the defense, tightens up in front of them as well to help them out. But let me know what you thought about anything I said in this video. Let me know what you think about this road trip coming up. Throw your predictions out there. How do you think the boys do on this 3-game road trip? What else? I got a couple new videos on the channel. I did a little vlog-style video for the Devils-Ducks game that I went to the other night, so if you haven't seen that, check that out on the channel. Devils vs. Ducks vlog from the Prudential Center. Also dropped part 2 of the goalie mask vault visit with my buddy Jordan, who has an insane Devils game-worn goalie mask collection. That just dropped yesterday. check that out if you haven't seen it yet. I'll put the link in the description for all these videos. There's going to be a ton of links in the description, I guess. But really interesting stuff. We talked about a lot of these goalies from over the years in Devils history. It was a little fun walk down memory lane, if you will. Got a bunch of stuff coming up, but the boys need to get it together, and hopefully this Western Canada road trip can springboard them onto bigger and better things. And like a couple years ago, hopefully this is some wins amidst a very long winning streak. I would absolutely love to see it, but it starts tomorrow in Vancouver with the Hughes Bowl #2. Jack to see that. Like I said, I'll be doing the post-game live for all these games. It's going to be very late after the Vancouver game, so for any of you real ones out there, I'll see you at nearly 2 a.m. after the Canucks game. But anything, everything, New Jersey Devils hockey, throw it out there in the comments. I really enjoy talking to all of you within this little community we've built over time. And that's it for now. I'll be back soon. I'm hoping to see the boys go 3-0 on this road trip. I'll settle for 2 wins, but 5 points would be very good, and 6 points would be outstanding. And that's it. And that is it. Throw it all out there in the comments. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go.